Hey guys, and welcome. I am Morgan Gase McDonald, founder and CEO of Paper Raven Books, and I have with us today author Patricia Ghany, who's just releasing Serving Success. Patricia, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. We really appreciate it.
This is going to be amazing because we are talking about your book that's launching this week. It is Serving Success: How to Strengthen Yourself and Your Wealth. And what I love about this book, Patricia, is that you're taking different parts of your life. You've been a chef in New York. You're from Texas originally. You're in real estate. You talk to a lot of folks about success and wealth and these different aspects of life. I'd love to know from your perspective, serving success, who is this for? Who do you hope finds this book, and what do you hope they get out of it?
Well, I think this book is for pretty much everybody, but it's for people. Success happens sometimes in our darkest moments. And so I want to kind of do a shout out for everybody out there that's, feeling a little down or, has that little, voice in their head that says, I can't. This book is for you because we all can. We just have to look at it differently. And so that's the biggest group of people I want to reach out and touch, is everybody that's a little down, that says, I'm feeling down and I just can't do it anymore. And I want this book to come to you and say, hey, yes, you can, because we all can. We just have to work at it.
Wow, I love that. What a message for this day and age, right? I mean, like, we feel like we've been hit by so many of these big, like, economic forces and COVID and all these other things going on around outside of us. And yeah, I feel like your book, Serving Success, is very empowering to kind of us as individuals. What are some of the ways that you recommend people approach, their own success and really growing their own wealth?
Well, this book is, I tried to make it funny and I tried to make it light and I tried to kind of jump around on it a lot, because a lot of success, when you're in it, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get out of this. And so, one of the big things about success is you can't make it complicated. And so I try to break success down like you would baking a cake. You have a recipe, you have ingredients, and you bake your cake. And success is very similar to that. And so I use a lot of kitchen in my book, because I feel that is something that people need, is that simplification of life. I mean, I am just an average person that was a cook and a chef and a real estate agent. And the simple things that I learned in all of those professions, they follow me everywhere. And those simple things always bring success. And that's the biggest point of this book, is to just enjoy your life and break it down to its simplest parts.
What's one, like, if you could pull just one from the book, just to, like, tease us, like our amuse bouche or whatever you want to call it, I'm not a chef. I never have been. Probably never will be. I guess I could maybe if I follow your principles, Patricia. But just to tease us with, like, something that might be interesting or intriguing to us. What's one principle or lesson learned that you would say, yeah, here's something that you might like, potential reader, someone who's interested?
It's every chapter is a different story, so it goes really fast. It's really easy to read. People, like, when I first gave it to somebody, people until you guys got it and said you need to organize this a little bit better, it's all over the page. And the whole point is every little story has a little meaning and a little nugget. And I try to give it in stories so that you don't have to, digest it all at once. You can digest it a week from now. You can be walking down the street, oh, that's what she meant. But one of the things I really talk about a lot is chaos, and that our life is surrounded with chaos. And I call it entropy, because that's what, and it's the idea that chaos happens, and how do we incorporate the craziness in our life and make that successful, and make that, how to register when is crazy, and how do we organize that crazy into something that's successful. And that's a little tease out of my book, I guess.
I love that. That's the perfect tease. And I mean, how many of us feel like we always feel like once I can get like after I organize everything, after I get all my ducks in a row, then I will have success. And what I love, even just in our intro of you today, you know, we're talking about how you were a chef and a real estate agent. You know, worked in New York. You're from Texas. You're currently in Florida, right? And so,
yes, I retired in Florida. You know, sunny Florida. It's a fabulous place. Highly recommend it.
exactly. And so it's like, well, you're successful and you didn't ever have you probably never felt like you had all of your ducks in a row.
Oh,
and
never.
so we can release that too, you know, that
Oh,
we don't.
never. Today was a prime example. I have a house that's coming up and I'm putting it up for sale. And literally about 30 minutes ago, we were on the phone going, am I going to get the windows in or not? Because they're not coming in today. And I have this house coming up for sale. And I'm like, well, are we going to have windows or not? And then, you know, I went, well, time's up for that. Let's move on. And one of my points in the book is that kitchens thrive on chaos. We actually gear ourselves for chaos, because chaos we call the rush, or the, you know, the dinner rush, and we prepare our mind because we know what's coming, and we sit there and we go, okay, the rush is coming and we know it's coming and there's no stopping it. How do we maximize our success in these horrible times that, you know, we absolutely as kitchen people love? I mean, I live for chaos. And a lot of like financial wizards, they go running for they go running for the caves when, you know, or they bury their little heads in sand when chaos happens. And that's when you can make your most money and you can be your most successful, when everything blows up. And so that's one of the reasons why I wrote this book is, you know, your life's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. That's when you can be your most successful and your most happy. You just have to accept it and move on and enjoy it.
So good. So good. Like if we could just walk away with that nugget right there and really embrace it and live it, like what a difference that can make. I know I've experienced the same thing as I've, you know, grown my own business. It's like sometimes you have to lean into the chaos and say, it's okay, it's coming, it's happening, but
it is what it is.
Exactly. And even those two stories, like right next to each other, the windows coming in, are they going to be in time for the sale of the property? And the dinner rush in the kitchen, you know, like people, you know, I remember I was talking to one of our editors early on in the project, and I was describing it as like, we're bringing together, you know, real estate and, you know, lessons from the kitchen. She's like, how does that work? And it's like, it does, because you can find the through line. You can find, if it's true in real estate and it's true in the kitchen and it's true in life, like we're finding the threads, the overlaps, the kind of Venn diagram middle of that truth that kind of emerges or appears. So it's fascinating. You know, if you guys are curious, you can grab a free copy of Patricia's book today. paperravenbook.com/serving success. We've linked it up next to this video. Go ahead and grab that right here, right now, while you're thinking about it. Even if you're going to wait for a few days till the weekend or whatever to read it, grab your copy today while you're here and listening to us and thinking about it. And one of the coolest things about your book, Patricia, is that you actually have recipes, like literal recipes in here. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those recipes and why you wanted to feature them in the book?
Well, you know, Mother's Day, I think, is coming up here pretty soon. And a lot of the women in my life have really influenced me. And so if you have a mom, grab this book for her. This is my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother. These are all their recipes that they kind of, you know, this is, so it's a story of how strong women can be and how strong the community that you live in is. And so the reason why I brought the recipe in is because food is an international language. Everybody has to eat. And the women in my life have made me strong. And a lot of my conversations and a lot of my growth has happened at the dinner table. It's happened while having an apple sitting outside on the porch. And so food is a very important part of our success. And it's an investment in ourselves. And so I really felt that was an important, integral part of this book. And it's my background, it's where I came from, and it's kind of my way of sharing with you my heart.
Yeah, so cool, because then you can give us your family recipes, you can give us recipes you learned in your career, you give us some of your grandma's, you know, Texas back porch or front porch wisdom. So it's this like really beautiful bringing together of different contexts and food and family and yeah, ultimately, how do we make this the best life?
Exactly.
Both finances and just the good life, having a great meal with people who really you care about and who have made this life a good life for you. So it's pretty amazing. I'd love to know, Patricia, so you don't consider yourself sort of a writer as
Not at all.
you do the hands-on work, you do the work in the kitchen, you do the work in the real estate world, you manage money, that sort of thing. When did you decide, okay, I think I'm going to write a book?
Well, what happened to me is my husband ended up getting diagnosed with kidney failure. And this is a man that ran 5 miles a day, and he had something called IgA kidney neuropathy. And my life was at its darkest. And I said, just because my life is dark and it's, and I think my life is ending, because the doctor told me 3 times I was going to bury my husband. And fortunately, and I'm going to give a shout out to my he's like a brother to me, but he's a distant cousin. He stepped forward and gave my husband a kidney. So he's my knight in shining armor, and he's wonderful. His name is Mark, and I love you. And I just want you to know you're always in my mind. He stepped forward and gave my husband a kidney, but in the process of my darkest time and sitting there doing nothing, because all you can do is sit in a hospital or sit and wait for a doctor, I started writing these little short stories on, I can still be successful, and my husband can still be successful, and we can still be successful. And these are the ways we can do it. And so that's where this book started. It actually started as a building. Like I sat with him and we talked about building things and, how to build houses. Cause that's his, just to say, hey, we can still do things even though we're stuck in a hospital. And that was how this book started. And it's been a 10-year process. I put it down once he started getting better and we started getting our life back. But then when the coronavirus hit, I was like, you know what, this book really makes sense. Yeah. And so I picked it back up and started finishing it up. And so it's been fun, and it's been a real experience and a real blessing.
Yeah. And it's such a different thing to like sit in a chair somewhere. And for some of us, it's a hospital. For some of it's, it's like, our dining room table. And you're just like writing kind of notes to yourself. And then over time, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm adding to it. I'm getting an editor. I'm going through revisions. Oh my gosh, it's going to be published. What has that process been like, bringing someone else in to read your words and help prep it for publication?
In my book, I talk about crews and the importance of having a community that like supports you. And one of the biggest helps in my community has been Paper Raven and you guys. And so this is my shout out to you, because I really do appreciate everything you guys did, because I brought you a hot mess. When I first handed you this book, I even called you and said, this doesn't make any sense, but it'll work. And you guys pulled it together, and I appreciate that. And it wouldn't have happened without you guys. So well, Paper Raven is amazing.
Thank you. It's been an honor to be on the journey with you. And I mean, I remember our first conversation and hearing you describe, restaurant life and real estate life, and you and your husband, because he does the construction side, and grandma's recipes. And I was like, this is intriguing. It's going to take a little work.
Oh, it took some work.
But it really has come together so beautifully. We get lessons of success and stories and, food life, recipe life. And it comes together in this book that leaves an impression, right? It leaves us so many things to think about and apply directly to our lives. So it's been an honor to be on the journey with you on this book, for sure, from our perspective.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And, sometimes when people walk through this whole process, they kind of look back at the younger version of themselves and like, that was a sweet, naive version of myself. But now that you've kind of been through this, you've gone from writing notes to yourself in the hospital to Serving Success is on Amazon. It's already hit multiple #1s in, cooking, food, wine, budgeting, women in business, some of these, amazing categories. Looking back at a younger version of yourself, what would you tell yourself about this publishing process that maybe you wish you had known back then?
There's 2 things. The first one is a lot of a lot of us have like a little voice inside our head that says this isn't going to work, this isn't right, you can't do this, and don't listen to the voices. Just do what you got to do. That's the first thing. And the second thing I would say is talk to Paper Raven first. Because let me tell you, they made this process organized and easy, and it's not an easy process.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I promise I'm not paying Patricia to say these things.
No, I'll take my 50 at the end. No, I'm just joking. I promise.
But I mean, really, that is my deepest hope, our team's deepest hope, that we can take something that feels really complicated and make it easier. Much like if I came to you and said, Patricia, teach me how to, make a meal. Yes. To me, walking into a kitchen is overwhelming. But to you, it's like, oh, get the pots, get the pans, get the onion, get the knife. Like, let's go.
Let's do this. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm really glad that we've been able to walk this part of the journey with you. And it's just beginning, right? This is really kind of like week one of the rest of your life as an author. And we're just getting the word out about the book. And folks, if you are here with us watching this, go check out Patricia's book, Serving Success, How to Strengthen Yourself and Your Wealth. Go to paperravenbooks.com/serving success. It's linked up here next to the video, and you can grab a free copy right now today and dive in and check out Patricia's book. We would definitely invite you to do that. Any last words, Patricia, for our readers out there or listeners out there?
I just want to thank everybody that's already downloaded the book. We wouldn't be here without you. And so I really just want you to know we appreciate you. And if you know anybody that's interested in this book, it is Serving Success. Please, please, please tell them it's worth it. Great gift for Mother's Day. You guys take care, and thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, guys. We will see y'all next time. Bye.